And sometimes writing papers don't do. Is everything okay? Yeah.
Yep. Welcome.
I knew there was like a name problem too. Well, also getting them out so that those sort of houndstooth and like.
Oh yeah, houndstooth is like the men's wear, but it's kind of like.
Kind of looks like little lightning bolts a little bit, yeah.
I'm getting so that's funny.
So I guess you can broadcast.
Are we waiting for anyone else to join?
I mean, I don't know if we're expecting Jay or not. Did he say something?
Jay told me.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But, he's not be late usually. So. Yeah, sorry for the delay, guys. I guess we'll start. I'll check with Jay. He's our president, and then.
We have to leave by
Okay, yeah, we'll get that started soon. Sorry. Oh, there he is. No worries, okay.
Did you guys review the agenda? Yeah, okay. So everybody's good with it? Cool. So,
And there are cookies with us to the money else. So.
let's see the screen. You can go ahead and get started. What was the first thing on there?
Turn it over right now.
Okay.
Maybe starting with student presentations. Some students need to leave by.
Right, yeah, so they can have it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think let's just go ahead and skip the introductions, and you can just say your name if you're the first person speaking. So let's see. I think we had Ryan, Alexa, Lexi, and Lancer. All right, awesome.
Okay, so this semester we worked with the North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities and the Alliance of Disability Advocates, and we did a research project on accessible transformation for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So to present our research, we made a website, and the website contains like statistics and research that we found, and we also have like 2 personal testimonies, but we wanted more, but we're still waiting for more responses. So.
Okay. So was there anything that any kind of help that you needed that you think DDA could help with? Any kind of questions you had about accessibility or anything like that?
I think our biggest concern is making sure our website is accessible enough.
Right. So you have your own website separate from Marion. Okay. If you send us a link, someone should look at it. We can even probably pull it up now real quick. if you, uh,
I get around after this week. God wakes me.
Oops.
I think it's slash 2018 and then.
So,
Yes.
awesome.
so let's,
We can
So- yeah, let's do that.
Oh, wow.
So the one thing you'll want to do is make sure this works with screen readers. What you can do is, I can send you a link to Read and Write Gold. Or basically, you can download it from the OIT website, and it's a screen reader. So just make sure that it can read your website. Have you Googled like how Wix handles accessibility issues? Like they probably have in the help section somewhere. How like if there's anything special you need to do. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. It looks pretty good. Again, I'll send you the information about that screen reader so you can try that out. And then you can always contact the Student Disability Access Office if you're having any issues, and they can kind of help with things too. Like Nicole Stovall over there is usually pretty good about handling accessibility issues. So there's that. Okay. Yeah, so was anything else you needed from media? Anything else you wanted to share with the group?
Maybe like how to distribute the website, like to actually get people to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, so let's think. So what we can do is we'll probably send out in our recap, we'll send out the week schedule. And then when we talk about the expo, we can just include the link to Marion's website, and we can include the link to your website as well. If you want to, if you want on your own personal like Facebook or social media or whatever, you can if you promote like the expo or just disability project in general, you've probably already done this already, but like sharing the link on your own personal social media.
Who do you want to see the website?
Well, we really wanted like more Duke students to see the website just to create awareness about the transportation issues.
Right. You can share it with DSG as well. Like Ivan Robles, he's been working with us on some stuff. Like making sure that the Uber rides, the pickup locations are accessible, things like that. So yeah, you can share it with him as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. Anyone else think of anything?
I mean, just for sharing it with Duke students, like just sharing it on all Duke, definitely get some
Right, yeah.
clicks. But the important thing there would be to like have an interesting thumbnail graphic. So like with the link, you get the big graphic thing. But if that's really text-based, like people like present, I have dyslexia, and so I'm not gonna like be reading that. And so like having like also like accessible text when it's already there. But just a graphic to catch attention.
Yeah, and if you do have a graphic, it's good to usually include like a image description for people who are visually impaired that can't like see what the image is. It's good to have something that can be read out to describe the image.
I think there's examples of that on the DDA Facebook page, right?
Yeah, and I think on Marion's website as well, there'll probably be some examples. We can send you more information about that as well. Yeah, I think that's everything. That I think we can move on to the ASL club then. are you on the, did you contact us already?
I did, I
Okay.
contacted.
So, sorry, so did you need to leave early? Because I think we have, are you, Valerie Roberts? So we have you on for 12:04 to 12:11. It's probably gonna be earlier than that. Does that work for you? Okay, cool. Yeah, we have all the other projects later on the agenda, so, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, so I think, Addie, I think Kevin had, you had been talking to Kevin about kind of coming, and coming to a meeting and kind of speaking about how we could partner with the UKSL Club. So I guess I don't know if you had any ideas on the top of your head that you wanted to talk about, or.
Yeah, so the ASL Club is kind of just starting. We're trying to get ideas and sort of an actual relationship with UVA, to be able to campaign for courses. I think next semester what they're trying to do is, because we can't hire someone right now and start a course right now for fall, this upcoming year, they want to do sort of a informal course on weekends.
A house course or like a?
Not a house course, but just like a club, and then you
Okay,
come on this
right.
time and
Okay,
then
yeah.
you have a course. It'll be a couple hours, one day a week, usually a weekend, I guess, and then go and learn ASL. And it'll be fall a beginner's course, and then spring an intermediate course.
Okay.
Just to kind of gauge interest, and show Duke that there are people who want to learn this.
Right.
And then have, the following year be when we actually try to get courses. But kind of creating awareness, and the one thing that Duke wants to see is that the Disability Alliance is also supporting it.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
But I don't know if you guys have any specific requests. Another thing that we're thinking of is doing an alternative spring break where people kind of get immersed into ASL and what it is to be like a person with hearing impairment or a person who's deaf. And at the end, like the last day or two, no speaking allowed, it will just be silent. So that's one of the ideas that we have. And then also what's it called, the Duke Splash, we're doing that.
Oh, okay.
Where we go to a middle and high school and teach.
Right. Awesome.
Elise Goldwasser, who is at the PPS office, she handles internships.
Sorry, who?
Elise Goldwasser.
Police.
She has a child who is hearing impaired, and she'd be really interested in getting involved, possibly. And I know in talking to her, she took an ASL course along with her child over the summer, like 2 years ago somewhere.
And how do you spell her name?
Goldwasser, just like it sounds, Goldwasser. And she's in PPS, and at least at Goldwasser at Duke.edu. She handles interns. Public policy students have to do this internship in their senior year in order to get their degree. And she's actually been feeding me interns for the audio description project. So she's very interested in, she'd be a good ally.
Okay. I just forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so I know Jordan Diamond had come to a meeting last semester, and
Yes.
he was going to present something to DSG.
Yeah, he's with the ASL Club now.
Okay, great. So how so I don't think we ever heard how that went. Like,
I don't know if
did anything and it didn't happen, or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know he's friends with Ivan Robles, and so I'm sure they've discussed it, but I don't know if it was a formal presentation or not.
Yeah, because I think he had said that he was going to present, but yeah,
The Raleigh Department of Deaf Services also has free ASL classes.
Of deaf services.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, we would support any of those initiatives that you were talking about, definitely.
Yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions about what we should do. Another thing that we were talking about is to get some sort of awareness video going, of people who have hearing impairments on campus or hearing disabilities, and explain what it is to, you know, exist on campus having that.
Definitely.
Because I think that's one of the things that people don't necessarily understand is all of the barriers that you have every day just to be in a classroom.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've heard some from our survey about issues like in like large classrooms, I think especially.
Yeah, or even small classrooms.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And people start chattering, they don't,
Right, yeah.
you can't really hear anything.
So yeah, if you need our like anything specific that you need our help with, definitely please reach out.
Yeah, it would be mostly, or at least what I can think of right now is contacting people that we might not know, that you might have, who might want to participate in the video.
Cause I mean, you're friends with Brandon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so I would be.
Unfortunately, he's the I think the only person that we know. I don't think we know anyone else.
I have a student.
Oh, you do have a student?
Oh, great.
Yeah, it would be up to her if she wants to
Okay.
disclose in that.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I know like 2 people, but that's it.
I really like the idea of the Duke Immerse where they're learning. Where would you go to do that?
It would kind of just be on campus here.
Cool.
And I think I like that idea the best because you would, at least for those final 2 days, understand what it would be like to like only be able to use sign, you know, in the real world.
Another thing that occurred to me when you were saying that was that, like, what if you could do a Duke Engage at Gallaudet University?
That would be so cool.
See something like that. I mean, I have no idea what it takes to get a Duke Engage started. But the person you talk to is Eric Mullen.
Eric what?
Mullen, M-L-Y-N.
M-L-Y-N.
I think. And he's an office in the Smith Warehouse. He's someone who's in charge of Duke Engage. I met with him once. So yeah, if it was something that there was a lot of interest in,
Yeah.
it'd be awesome. Like a summer school learning sign language.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. So.
That's another thing is that like there could be even like student jobs for interpreters, you know.
Yeah.
And that would actually make Duke a lot more accessible as a university.
Yeah.
In general, because the fact that we don't have a lot of students who are hearing impaired is an issue.
And we don't have ASL, so it's a
Right.
surprise. Like it's just not part of the culture.
Yeah, there's no ASL anywhere in this area. Like UNC doesn't have
I
it.
think Greensboro does, right? UNC does.
Shaw-
Yeah, that's Greensboro.
They're
No.
far away though. Yeah, it's like
Shaw
an hour.
University has courses in ASL.
Yeah. Where is that?
Shaw University is an HBCU in Raleigh,
Oh, okay.
the first HBCU to have a medical school, by the way,
Yeah, but like, I mean, so the
which it no
issue,
longer has, but
the issue here is that like students at Duke don't have access to those because you can't be commuting there, you know?
Yeah.
Like you could theoretically take a class anywhere, but you can't because you can't commute there, so it's accessibility reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've also struggled with interpreters as well because the cost does get.
Yeah.
Like you can request them from SVO, but
Yeah.
the cost does get.
Can you imagine if you had student interpreters? You know?
Yeah. I mean, like part of the thing is like we don't really know how to judge the quality. Like
Yeah.
what we would want to make sure, like especially like for people that are coming that like we know have hearing impairments, like we would want to make sure that we have like people that can do the job to their satisfaction.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the things we struggled with, but I think having you guys like promoting ASL, I think that'll be helpful to kind of find people and train people who can.
I think one of the things that
well.
people can do, so there's, in Spanish anyway, there's a class on translation. And there are more often now people who are leaving high school with 3 or 4 years of ASL.
Yeah.
Because their high schools will teach it. And so if there were some sort of course that would take you from beginning to advanced, which you could, one, it could be a foreign language, you know, included under that. And then 2, it could, like, the end of that could be a translation course.
it'd be also really interesting to get speakers here who speak with sign language.
Yeah.
And so we would need to have the interpretation in order to understand them.
Yeah.
And there's a fellow who works for first name is Martin, I can't remember the rest of his last name, but he works for the 9/11 Memorial. And to me, he's great. And that was my first experience with somebody who's presenting in sign language. And so the audience, for the most part, who doesn't know sign language, was having to listen to the interpreter. So it's pretty mind-opening.
Yeah. All right, well, yeah, let us know if there's anything specific. If you have any like description of your club, information like Facebook page, social media, we can definitely share that.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming, we really appreciate it. All right, so now we have, I believe that Meredith McCook here. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming today. I think you had emailed us a while ago. I think you had mentioned just wanting to have a kind of a general partnership with DDA. I don't know if there's anything else more specifically with that you wanted to talk about.
Sure. So thank you so much for having me this morning. I really appreciate it. And I love the accessibility component of having it over Google Hangouts. That's awesome. And so I had originally reached out to DDA because I'm not aware of our office kind of having worked with the group before. And it is something that we are really wanting to look at our own resources and how we're serving our students on campus with disabilities and being good allies in that practice. We do have some resources, but certainly we know there are other ways that we could be working with and helping with the student population. But part of it is also better understanding what DDA does and how you are already supporting students, and are there ways for us to help support the work that you're already doing, and or are there ideas or ways that we could be collaborative to better serve this community?
Right. Yeah, so I think so in general, DDA tries to promote conversations about disability issues on campus, and so that's like what challenges do people with disabilities face, and how can society help them deal with those challenges in a better way? And then also more specifically, trying to make Duke more accessible and more inclusive of people with disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, so I think we did a little bit of brainstorming as to some kinds of things that we'd like to talk with you about.
Oh, absolutely, that's great.
So have you had any contact with the Disability Management System or the Student Disability Access Office in regard to preparing students with disabilities for employment, like getting accommodations in the workplace and that sort of thing?
Sure. So I personally have not, but in the past, we actually had an accessibility committee in our office. And so we do have a number of student resources around those areas of talking about disclosing a disability and how you might do that, your rights in the hiring process and things like that, as well as considering who to disclose to and what to disclose in those conversations. I'm happy to share the link for those resources as well if you haven't been able to see those before. In relationship to the office itself, I personally have not had interactions. I'm still fairly new to Duke and still building relationships across campus. I'm about a year and a half into my position. So.
All right. Yeah, if you could definitely send us the link to that information that you were talking about, we definitely appreciate it.
Okay. Is that good to send over the Hangout, or do you want me to send it directly to Maddie?
I think email would probably be best, Duke Disability Alliance at duke.edu.
Okay, I can send it there, sure.
Great, thanks. Yeah, and then I guess the other thing is like helping people with disabilities find internships with companies, especially companies with like working environments that are supportive of disability. I don't know what work you've done with that in the past, but I think that is something that we wanted to talk with you about as well.
Absolutely. That is a conversation that we have with all of our employers of kind of with our various student populations on campus. How are they supporting those students? And with their individual identities and different components that just make them who they are. So we do certainly advocate for our students with disabilities and in having those conversations with employers. Now, many of them are happy to make accommodations, especially during interview processes and stuff like that too. And then our office can help guide students as they're reaching out to employers as to if they may need to ask for different accommodations and things like that as well. So in regards to how that is identified, I can get some more information on that in regards to our employer relations team. So I specifically am on the undergraduate counseling team. So I'm happy to reach out and get some more information because I'm sure there's more there than I may be aware of. But our team, the counseling team, would be helping students in navigating those conversations and in potentially finding those employers that have that particular outreach, because we certainly so commonly will see employers who are doing diversity initiatives, and many of them will include students with disabilities under that initiative. So each employer defines diversity differently. So we always ask them to include that in the information for those initiatives instead of just saying a diversity initiative, because that's very easy to self-select out of. So making sure that they are very clear on what that looks like.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I think especially like if there were some way where like we could identify companies that like have like are like particularly supportive of disability and like kind of be able to give people information about that sort of thing. Like, cause I understand that like a lot of companies do like are supportive of people with disabilities, like they have like ways for them to get the accommodations they need and things like that. But I think it's like hard to find like which companies in particular are best at it. Best at that sort of thing.
Kind of like a list of maybe employers who are doing this well, but then also tips on how to identify those employers outside of that list.
Yeah, I don't know, Marion or anyone else here, what you guys think about that, but or if there's anything more specific that would be helpful.
Something. Is there somebody else? Something that the LGBT task force did a few years ago, and that the national organization, it sort of did a rating kind of thing. So, you know, some kind of formalized process that maybe even each employer, you know, each company could have to answer a questionnaire, and then there's some actual statistical evidence for making that support of, hey, this group does it well. You know, because what does that really mean? It's like, do they have this? Do they have this? Do they have this? And it's some quantitative analysis that supports it, because otherwise it's like, oh, I think they do it well, and they don't. It isn't for me.
Yeah.
And it gets to even be defamatory potentially if you know, with my lawyer hat on now. It's like, hey, you know, call them out as being not so good, and they didn't make that list, then you're being unfair to them. Maybe they really were.
Yeah, I think like a rating system would be a great tool for people to have.
Or even something that is frankly is a requirement. Hey, if you want to get students here at Duke, you must fill out this form and tell us what you do.
Yeah.
Or else you don't get in.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I don't know what the Career Center could do in that regard, but I mean, that would definitely be desirable, I think, for a lot of people with disability.
I'm happy to share that information again with our employee relations team and see, as I said, a little bit more about what are they doing, how are they vetting that work, and how are they identifying that students.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes.
But also in the resources link that I'll send under that particular resource that it is meant for students with disabilities, there is a handout on kind of a little bit what you're talking about, not necessarily Duke specific employers, but search engines and listings where you can find disability-friendly employers. So those are also national listings rather than necessarily just Duke specific, which also may be helpful because my concern a little bit in doing an employer survey, although I totally understand and appreciate those surveys, is that if they don't all fill it out, and honestly, it's not feasible to have all of them get back to us, it's just a reality. If students would negate employers that actually are disability friendly, but they haven't seen the form or didn't go to the right recruiter, because for some of these companies, we have over 10 contacts. But when we send things out like that, they'll go to just the lead contact. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we also don't lose opportunities for students by creating a list per se in that way. So I will definitely relay this information and share it out so that we can continue this conversation in my office. But also, please, as you're looking through those resources that I'm going to send, let me know what you think of them. If they're not sufficient, if you're not finding them to be good resources at all, that type of feedback is vital to us so that we can then look for better services, better resources as well.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much again for coming. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss with us?
No, I mean, this is a great start. So, I mean, I hope to be able to continue the conversation. Please feel free to reach out with us with other ideas of what you have, or as I said, feedback on the information that I'm going to send out. Because that way we can continue looking at that. Because that committee, as I was saying, the accessibility committee has rolled into a larger committee. So it's an ongoing conversation that we're constantly evaluating. Our website was just redesigned to be more computer reader friendly. So things like that. So if you're seeing things that could be better, could be done in a more accessible way, please let us know. And if we can make that happen, we absolutely will.
Yeah, we definitely will. Yeah, we can take a look at the website, I think, in the next few weeks.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be in touch soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. Let's see. So next, I think we had Scott on the agenda. Hey, Scott. So I guess if you just want to talk about PICAP and what the event's like, that'd be great.
Yeah, okay. So Julie Kemper, she's the philanthropy chair for Delta Gamma. She couldn't make it this morning, but we're partnering with Delta Gamma this year to do PICAP, Dump DG. We did a similar thing last year where it was just sort of PICAP. We wanted to add this second aspect. We thought it would raise more funds. And just to give you some background about PICAP's philanthropy, we're the only fraternity to have its own philanthropy, and it's called the Ability Experience, and 100% of our funds go to disabled people. And so, we have all kinds of events around the country. We have an event called the Journey of Hope, which is just like a bike marathon that goes across the nation. 15 PICAPs go and bike and, just kind of like sleep in churches and things like that. And they bike something like 50 miles a day, and just sort of raise awareness about those disabilities. But so PICAP Dump DG, we wanted to have it at the end of Disability Pride Week. UCAE is not really being the easiest with us, and so we're actually probably gonna have to do it 2 weeks from now. We're still gonna be tabling all week with you guys. We're gonna be tabling this week and next week. And you mentioned that someone was gonna come review and get some help with tabling.
So you sent us the schedule for next week, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And does that also now include the schedule for the following week?
I'm going to be creating a separate
one
sheet for the next week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we can at least send next week's out in our recap. We'll try and get that out today. So we'll see. Yeah. So hopefully some of our membership will sign up. I think exec will also take a look at it. And I think, Marion, you had one student that's also wanting to be there.
Yeah, she wants to incorporate her project with the gift baskets and talking about self-care topics.
Jay mentioned that. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Do you know what's gonna be in the gift basket? I think we had.
I
don't know if we have any more specific information.
I'll check if she's posted anything, if she's updated anything.
Take me a minute.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, last year was really fun. I think I did pie someone last year, and I have a picture of that. So hopefully we can do more of that. Oh, was there? I think there was a video. I don't know if I posted it or not, but I think there.
I think I posted it.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty humiliating. It's great.
I think it's on our website from last year. I think.
Great.
Maybe just pictures though.
Okay.
But yeah, and also I mentioned this, but DG, their philanthropy is for those. I think half their philanthropy goes to the blind, and I don't remember what this second one goes to, but I think it's also for a different type of disability. So it all just kind of ties together, both our philanthropies.
Do you know like what specific organizations DG's
No, I can contact Julia.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could send that.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're gonna be splitting the donations.
Right. Awesome. And do you know how much it's gonna like? So basically, you give money and then you can come to the event and then pie.
Well, yeah, you can come to the event for free, and we're gonna like sort of encourage donations for pieing and for like throwing the ball to try and dunk someone.
Okay.
We haven't really decided on the president for that. We might just do it sort of open, so like just any kind of donation helps, and
awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Last year, Pie Cap was on the BC Quads, right?
Yeah.
This year, is there going to be an Able Quad?
Yes. So I was trying really hard before spring break to get it scheduled, but Able Quad is really difficult to book.
Yeah.
Like all the normal two groups websites, how you sign up, don't have Able Quad as a location. So I was sort of frustrated, and I kind of put it off till after spring break. And when I called in, I finally got to like the top of the food chain to Tara. I don't know if you know Tara.
Tara Beck Scott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and she's very strict on the 2-week rule for if you're going to book the Able Quad. So I guess it was probably my fault. But yes, we can't do it on the BC Plaza because dunk tank's not allowed on there. It's really, really heavy, surprisingly heavy. So we have to do it on the quad, and they've had it there in the past. And we're going to be meeting from Monday. I'm kind of frustrated because Able Quad is not booked for the time that we want, and it would be perfect to have it at the end of Disability Pride Week.
Definitely.
She's just really pushing back on it. I contacted her, I think, like 11 days beforehand, and she was like, no, you need 14 days. So,
Unnecessary.
yeah, it's very kind of
Yeah. So if it's, Able Quad doesn't end up working out and we can do it on the BC Plaza, then where would we?
So if Able Quad doesn't work out, I mean, we will be able to do it. Like Tara said, that we will eventually be able to do an Able Quad. It's just a timing issue. But if we meet with her and something goes wrong, then we're planning on just ditching the dunk tank and doing like pie cap decorated DG, where you can like paint their faces or something like that, just like a little plan B. But the overall goal is to get it on Able Quad. Oh, and that plan B would be on PC Plaza.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we'll be sending out the table and stuff, definitely. But yeah, let us. Yeah, and if you can send us a description too. So yeah, because like I was telling you yesterday, like because the event's not gonna actually be during Disability Pride Week, I think we'll want to promote our the Disability Pride Week stuff separately from Pie Cap. But yeah, if you send us a description, like especially after Saturday, once Disability Pride Week's over, we can definitely like be heavily promoting that. So
yeah, I'll definitely send you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last year too, we used it as an opportunity to talk about Accessibility Matters Day and to get people to.
So we will, when we're tabling this week, I think I talked about this as well. So we have Accessibility Matters Day on Thursday, the 29th. And so what we do is we just get people to like fill out this, it's like a Google form, you just type in your name saying like, I pledge to like, on this Thursday, like only walk accessible routes, like anywhere, like on campus, or I think we said even off campus. Just only use accessible routes and kind of like share your experience on social media, like post pictures and things like what your experience is like.
Because you're gonna run into access barriers, guaranteed, and just take pictures.
Yeah. I think last year I had like, I took a picture of a restroom door in the BC.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's things like that. So I think that would be great.
For that, when we do make that pledge, like, can there be examples of like things that you might not think of? Because everyone thinks of like stairs, right? But things like doors, people might not think of, or things like if a door isn't wide enough.
Yeah, I think like doors, steep inclines, stairs.
That's for mobility impairments.
Yeah, that's
And then,
mobility.
yeah, so
That-
you're looking for braille on elevators
Yeah.
and restroom
Yeah.
doors, signposting,
Yeah.
just for people who don't know a space. And like, I know, like if you're going anywhere new on campus where you haven't been before and you're just lost.
Or a small text as well.
Yeah,
Like sometimes like I can't see a bathroom sign because
Yeah.
it's like, I can't see it.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
any like building label, like social sciences across the way, you can't find it unless you get right up to the door and you're like, oh, okay, this is the right building.
Yeah.
Because it says social sciences and like this little tiny plaque. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that factor into accessibility. We also have our accessibility survey that I don't know if you guys were aware of, but we should send it to the ASL
Yeah.
club and get
Yeah.
them to take it because
Yeah.
that gets you thinking about all the forms of accessibility.
Right, and I think after Disability Pride Week, we'll again be promoting that as well, so.
Yeah, and I mean, at least in hearing, like all of West Union is basically not accessible.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you can't hear a lot, during like high activity hours, you really can't hear anything.
Because of all the ambient noise.
Yeah, and so like when you order, you can't hear what that person's saying.
right.
Right. So the absence of like quiet spaces, which
And fluorescent lighting as well, like,
Yeah.
maybe not here, but like a lot of other places on campus, you have lighting that, I think.
triggers migraines and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
Flashing lights as well.
yeah,
Like if they have a fixable trigger.
right, definitely.
So just for the tabling, so if you guys are coming to table this week, so we're gonna have the pledge and we're also gonna have, the handout for mental health, gift baskets. Did you guys have any other set plans for that, or are you just gonna come and sort of?
I think that's about it. So yeah, basically we'll bring like something with the pledge on it so people can like type their name in. And then the Madison will be there with the gift baskets whenever she can be
I don't
there.
know how many shifts she'll take, but
Right, yeah,
I believe I sent her the form.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of the shifts already filled, so if she
Okay.
can't even find a time that is convenient for her, she can just come on.
Okay, she can just join when there's other
Yeah.
people already there. Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
Alright, great.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. It's great sitting with me.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, have a great day.
You too.
All right. Awesome. So, student presentations. I think next we had Katie Bailey. Hey. So if you just want to, I guess, talk about your project, anything you need from us.
So what I will be doing, and I've actually gotten confirmation finally that both plans are gonna work. So
Yay.
getting the display. It won't be next week, but my plan is I have a list of books with positive disability representation. And next week I will have a blog post up on the Duke Libraries blog that features, I have 4 categories of books that are personal narrative, fiction, disability studies, scholarship, and history, and other, which consists of poetry and anthology type works. For the blog post, I'm picking 1 to 2 books per category to do a short blurb about, kind of talk about the importance of representation in literature and in writing.
Right.
And again, kind of promote these books. The other books that don't get specifically featured, I plan on saying, like, if you're interested, more like this, try these books.
Short lists and long lists. structure.
Yeah, oh gosh, I've got the short list, the long list, and the longer list. The longer list makes me want to cry. I went through about 15 months over spring break.
Amazing.
Had to walk away from reviewers at some points.
Oh.
I got so bad at some point. Some very interesting people. But yeah, the books that I plan on featuring as of right now, and if you guys have read any of them or have strong opinions for or against them, please let me know, because there's only 1 book on this list that I've read personally. So I am doing this based on reviews that I have read, which is not the best way to have gone about things, I realize, but it was kind of the only thing.
It's hard to read like 50 books.
Yeah, that was a little much. So from personal narratives, I'm going to feature Brilliant to Perfection, Graphical Language Cure by Eli Clare, and Movement Violations by John Hockenberry. And in my other section, I'm gonna add more to this because since I've kind of changed the formatting of it, I can do that. The one that I have right now is called Dirty River, a queer film of color dreaming her way home by Leah Lakshmi. Oh goodness, Ravinza Samarashina. Sorry, that was from fiction. This one was the hardest one to narrow down. The Dregs duology by Lee Bardugo, which consists of books 6 Prose and Crooked Kingdom, and The Curious Incident of the Dog of the Nighttime by Mark Haven. I chose that one just because from the feedback I got, that was the most known, or the only known book on the list, really. Other books that I have are Carry the Ocean by Heidi Cullinan, The Real Boy by Anne Ursu, Handbook for Dragon Slayers by Mary Haskell, Far From You by Tess Sharp, El Defo by Cece Bell, Don't Touch by Rachel and Wilson, and Two Girls Staring at the Ceiling by Lucy Frank. Have any strong feelings towards any of those?
So the books you're promoting, are they examples of like positive representations or like negative representations or representation in general, or?
I've gone through and I've eliminated some by certain criteria, like fiction's the hardest one to sort through because there's so many tropes. I tried to pick out books that didn't do things like, like villainizing characters, like magical cure type of tropes. So I've done my best to sort through those.
So we talked at length about this earlier this week and decided that like since the majority of representations are doing something wrong, we was going to be looking for the examples that were more exemplary, so better, more realistic, not like telling the sentimental journey of a non-disabled person, who
that was the big criteria.
Who through their encounters with a disabled person becomes a morally better, because that's so common. So she's trying to avoid all of the like stereotypical, familiar tropes to find better examples.
Reviews that I've read, especially in fiction. I found a really neat website that had kind of an honor roll of young adult and middle grade books with positive representation and reviews written by people with disabilities.
Okay, great.
So pretty much all of the ones on the fiction list are on that kind of honor roll. I think all of them are actually. And then for scholarship and history, I have not picked which ones I'm going to feature yet, but the 4 that I have are the Disability Studies Reader, What Have We Done, Claiming Disability and Defining Deviance, and for some reason I don't put the authors down on this page.
It's Michael Rembis for the last one.
Okay, thank you.
Claiming Disability by Simi Linton. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are 2 books that I know of that I don't know if you have on your list. So there's Wonder by R.J. Palacio, which I have not read that one.
I
talked about Wonder. Yeah, we decided not to include Wonder.
I have such mixed feelings towards Wonder. On one hand, it's good for younger kids, but also I write, so I naturally pick up on writing style, and the writing is, in my opinion, horrendous in that book.
All right.
But no,
she has enough books.
Right.
Yeah. My one point of feedback is that since this is on the library website and it's during Disability Pride Week, if you could be sure to plug that, say it's Disability Pride Week at Duke, and here's what that means. This is why that's important, and then you can tie that into representations and how we need better ones and how we need to put the good ones forward. And how it's the same as that difference between awareness and pride, right?
Yeah.
Pride as being let's celebrate the disability experience and try and destigmatize and get away from tragedy, pity, negativity, loss, all of those things. So you can kind of use that as a frame.
Okay, that would help.
Yeah, and then also gives it a local and current context.
Yeah.
One more quick thing, the second part of this that unfortunately I don't think is going to happen in time before Disability Pride Week, but I'm working with Lilly Library to get a physical display of these books in the library, or some of these books at least, in the library, kind of as a promotion. And then also on the blog post, I'll be including call numbers for the books to get them.
Awesome, that's great.
My one concern is what do I need to do to make this accessible?
So it's a blog. Which site are you using for the blog?
It's the Duke Libraries website.
Okay. So again, I can also send you the screen reader information. Again, you can just download that through the OIT website, make sure it works. contact Nicole Stovall at SDA. I can give you her contact as well. So yeah. Other than that, I can't really think of any other accessibility concerns. If you also want to promote like where you can find ebooks and audiobooks of the books, like wherever you can find them in Duke libraries, that'd be great as well. Yeah. Then the one other book that I thought of real quick is it's called Petey. It's a novel by Ben Michelson. I read it and I really enjoyed it. It was a while ago, but it's this guy, he lives in an institution his whole life, but it's like his life through his eyes. So I thought it was a really great book. So I don't know if you want to check that out. It's Petey.
There's another one, so are you focusing on physical disabilities or?
I am trying to cover a range.
Okay, so I know, not off the top of my head, but I've read a lot on intellectual, cognitive disabilities.
Yeah, if you like just ask me a minute if you could talk to me,
Okay.
I need to learn more. And I can show you the extra long list.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a great project. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, all right. Now, next, I think we had Danielle Chipman. Hey.
Okay, so for my project, I was working with the video class and doing the videos for the activism videos, and my focus was on recreational facilities. So we basically focused mainly on, well, I contacted the two people that you gave me from Duke Rec, and they basically told us about the adaptive climbing. So we focused a lot on that, and like we actually went to one of them, and then we got a lot of footage from it. And after that, we like realized that like we had a lot from that, and then we went back and contacted other people to see if there was anything else that like they had to get footage of and to talk to. And not many people were very willing to talk to us about anything or be interviewed on the video. So we still only have one person interviewing. But we've been trying to get more information through email and like asking questions through email. To maybe add, like you said, some voiceover in it and for that. But basically we would just like to know like for like accessibility and like how to like make it.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know in general for the videos, was there any system that we had for making sure there was captioning and audio description?
I know that Jim asked me about that, and I told him they have to have open captions for the exhibition on Wednesday night. So I'm hoping that that's something that's coming together this week. They all posted the rough cuts either right before or right after spring break, and they're pretty rough. Like most of the videos aren't really done, like being put together. Like they have all this footage that they haven't really edited down yet. So a lot of them are like a person being interviewed for a really long time, and like they haven't like put a narrative on it yet with like, you know, questions, dialogue, voiceover, whatever it might be. So I think my suggestion on Danielle's video was that in order to make it an activism video as opposed to a commercial for the adaptive climbing thing, you need to kind of talk about a problem that exists and then kind of present that adaptive climbing maybe as like a solution or a better alternative or something like that, so that it has like a narrative structure and makes an argument, you know. So I don't know if you wanted to share anything about, like I know last year you talked to John McNeil about recreational facilities a little bit in his video. So like, what are the inaccessibility problems that exist, you know, so that they can talk about that at least?
I mean, I think there are a lot of pretty obvious issues, like if you have a mobility disability, like especially like I think if you're in like a wheelchair, it's really hard to use machines. Like a lot of them are like you get out and you have to sit in the machine, and I think that can be a barrier. Also, I think it's especially when you have a physical disability, it's hard to know how to use machines in a way that, like, you won't hurt yourself or something. Basically, like, the people, like, I know I have to be like super intentional about like the way in which I exercise. Like I can't just like follow the instructions blindly and that sort of thing. And so it's you need to like it can be kind of difficult to get that training. Like I know like I see physical therapists and so they can help with that, but like especially people who don't go to physical therapy and they want to work out, I imagine that would be a problem. And like even using the facilities here, it's like I typically don't like to use a facility until I've been through it with my therapist, like seen it with my therapist.
Yeah.
So I think that can be a barrier, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the reason that recreational facilities are included as a topic in the Accessibility Matters video series is that it's kind of having access to spaces to exercise is part of the universal design philosophy, right? It's like having an environment that promotes a healthful lifestyle. So you can also think about things like, where are the gyms? How easy are they to get to, and for whom? You know, and one thing that came up in this survey was that there is no gym access for grad students beyond a certain year, or for faculty members at all. Like, we have to pay, which, you know, for some of us is a barrier to access. So like that's an access issue too, is affordability and like inclusiveness. So you can think about all that stuff too, like where the gyms are located, how affordable they are, who's welcome to use it, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then like
also how physically accessible the building is, like for people with all different kinds of disabilities.
And like for me also, like working out is definitely helpful for like managing my condition.
Yeah.
So like that it is like good for me to go to the gym often. So it's definitely, I think, important for even for people with disabilities to have regular access to a gym, easy access.
And it's part of a social life of,
exactly,
of an institution as well. So didn't you have to have like machines in your own dorm instead of going to the gym or something like that?
Well, yeah. Well, no, so I have my own adapted bike.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
because they don't have
it's a long story. But yeah, also like there's sometimes if they gym doesn't have specialized equipment, then like you can't like get the kind of workout that you need as well. So yeah, that is a problem.
And then I know for like swimming pools as well, they're supposed to have a lift.
Yeah.
Right. Which you can check if they do, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you were gonna say.
I have like 3 comments now. So for the first one, for accessibility of like financially, like, and for cognitive disabilities, like treatment can be really expensive. And so, but for ADHD anyway, exercise can be really helpful. So it's part of the treatment, but if you're choosing between the two, you know, like it's not very accessible. But for the captions, I was gonna say, one thing that happens a lot is that they have captions, but they're not on the screen for long enough. And so if you need them, but you're slower at reading, then they're not actually helpful, and it's really frustrating to have to pause at a reasonable, caption. And then also I am actually running for the president of sports clubs. So if you have any connection to sports clubs as well, that's under DUCRAC. So I know we do have, one of the ways that people with disabilities can get more of a community and exercise around that is by running a sport club. So, and some of them have experience with that. I figure out how to make everything accessible. And for I run Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right now, and Brandon is part of it. So I'm like, okay, how do I make this safe for you? How do I do this so that you don't lose your hearing? And then figuring out how to teach so that you can actually hear as well.
Yeah, I think real quick, the Lennox Baker Children's Hospital is on Irwin Road, or it used to be the Lennox Baker Children's Hospital. It's now like owned by Duke Health. So they have physical therapy there, but they also have a warm water pool. It's on Irwin Road. It's like right at that like upper edge of campus. And so you may want to check that out. You probably don't have time anymore, but you have to like if you have like a medical condition where you need to do like exercise in a warm water pool, you basically sign up with them. You pay like $7 per visit, and you can go, and it's a really nice environment, especially because like they not only is the pool warm, but the entire environment is warm inside that area. So it's a great experience. I go there at least once a week. So you may want to check that out. And so for the captioning thing, I would say if you guys have time to just maybe show your video to SGAO and kind of run it by them, they would be able, or they're supposed to be able to with figuring out like things like Addie, what you were talking about with like the duration of the captions.
Also the font and size of it, sometimes it's really small, so.
True. Yeah, and then for the audio description, that's a problem for us as well. Like the cost is like super prohibitive for that.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what can be done in that regard.
I'm not sure if we have time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's people in documentary studies that can help you with the font and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cause like the audio description is like, again, like kind of if there's anything like visually going on in the video describing that so people who are visually impaired can like understand what's going on. But yeah, I think it does, the logistics are.
Yeah, I mean, I sent accessibility guidelines to the groups early on just from Rooted in Rights because they have a pretty thorough thing, and then tried to, show them what Duke makes available. But I mean, it's a tight window for production, so I'm not sure if they'll get it audio described or not. I really hope that they get the captions,
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult.
I mean, because it's a time crunch right now. Yeah, so.
It would just be a voiceover for the audio description. So like if there's a place where there's no audio description what's going on, like
be like
video of someone climbing.
Yeah, image of man climbing a colorful rock wall. It'd be like something like that.
It'd just be a voiceover essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
With a caption as well on that.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Is there anything else you wanted to talk to us about real quick?
Probably give her more ideas than she can.
All right, so I think the last student, so we have Valerie Roberts next. Yeah, so I guess again, if you just want to talk about your project.
Doesn't look like Lucas is here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I did a research project on lack of regulation in the psychiatric drug industry and kind of issues with diagnosing and prescribing and safety in clinical trials. I wrote an article that's kind of got memes interspersed in it. So I'm planning to post it on Tumblr and then have a link that's on the Activism Project website.
Awesome.
Do you have like a draft done yet?
I do have a draft. I'm actually in the middle of partially rewriting it.
Okay.
Because I got a lot of very interesting feedback.
What do people say about the memes? Like,
I
haven't seen them yet, so I'm just curious.
Some people like it's kind of, people like it, they dislike it. They're like it's kind of taking away credibility, but it's a serious article, so it's keeping interest, and they're like it makes it feel shorter, more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to kind of keep them in because even if you don't feel like reading it, I made most of them so that it captures the main ideas, so people who don't want to read the whole article can still get some of the information just scrolling through the pictures.
And so originally when we discussed it, I was kind of picturing that you'd have the memes like be almost separate from the article, but like linked to it, so that you might like post a meme on social media, and then someone could click through, and then it would take you to the more serious article that's standing alone. Is that not, so you decided to?
I decided to kind of disperse it because, I'm trying to get, students to read it.
Yeah.
And I definitely know that if you're on the go, you may not want to read a full-length article.
Yeah.
So I felt like having memes in the article would help. Mm-hmm. But I was also thinking about also posting separately the memes with a link so people who are like, long text, not feeling it, would be able to kind of see the picture and decide they wanted to read it.
Having bolded large section like cutoffs, also section titles. So like having, like if something is about a certain topic, have that described briefly on the section title, and that helps as well. It helps as well, like for me, whenever I read things, to understand like the narrative of what's going on.
What I have so far is I kind of like guiding questions, so it would be like a topic, and then kind of like almost like an introductory kind of like I'm gonna pull it up because I have it.
So I think, Marion, what I'll do is I'll send you the information about the screen reader, and have you already sent out
I've
Stovall's
given,
contact?
no, I haven't.
Or just any
actually.
FDO contact in general?
I gave them Lee Fickling's email.
That's fine. I mean,
And I gave them a kind of accessibility guidelines. It's like a little toolkit with like, here's what you need for audio description. Here's what you need for, I posted that to Sakai at the start of spring break. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll send you the information about the screen reader, so maybe you can just distribute that.
Sure.
That way. Great, thanks.
Yeah.
And then, if you can just send out Nicole.Stovall. With
Yeah.
2 L's at deep.edu.
Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah, thanks. And so then I think that'll help with your Tumblr post as well, making sure it's accessible. If you just try it out with the screen reader and then just contact Nicole Stovall if you're having any issues.
Yeah, and I haven't done it yet because I wanted to sort of finalize my job.
Right.
I started making it accessible, but I need to do the video or image audio description. I haven't.
Yeah, or even just like a written description that can be read aloud by a screen reader.
There's you can do image description typed out rather than audio file. You can do either one because if it works with the screen reader, it'll be able to read your image description as well. So you can choose if you want to type out the description or record it. Either one is fine. Dan Ellison actually shared with us a website last year that was really helpful in giving instructions for how to, because there's a whole art to describing an image, right? Which I wish you could take his course and learn that full art. But since we're in a kind of a time crunch, you're gonna have to make do with the website guidelines. But that's on Sakai as well on the announcements page.
Yeah, I feel like typing out might be easier so then I don't.
Right, and you just would say image description and make it italic,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sounds like a great project though. I like that. I like the meme things. I would definitely.
It's a different kind of creativity.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think that is everybody then. So I think that's about everything we wanted to talk about.
Before they go, can I share the flyer? Can I pass out some of the flyers?
Oh yeah, awesome. So this is
yeah.
for Saturday, right?
I actually made some for the student expo as well.
Okay, cool. But we don't have. So do we still have ones that are general with all of the?
I don't have one for
Okay, yeah.
week,
So we can discuss whether we have still have funds to do the general ones.
Yeah. If people could help me distribute these, post them up in places where students go. That'd be so helpful. So. Do you mind? I see this very much. Because you guys go to dorms and stuff that I never did, so it makes more sense.
A lot of questions seem to have come up with web accessibility, and there's actually just somewhere earlier in the week where a number of resources were mentioned, and so one is a book called A Web for Everyone by Sarah Horton and Whitney Quisenberry, Quesenberry. And evidently that has been very suggested by a lot of people as a great web accessibility book that talks about it more in a universal access kind of way. So not just specific to making it accessible for people with disabilities, but making the web accessible for idiots like me, or for all of us who's universal access, so that it makes it easier to navigate a web page for everyone. And then there's something, I don't know, I haven't gone to this website, webaim.org.
Okay. WebAIM. Is anyone taking notes on this?
I should play this.
Sorry.
Secretary Simon.
A Web for Everyone was the book that, and so this was suggested on part of a learning community for accessibility that Raleigh arts organizations have going.
Okay, and what's the website?
WebAIM, WEBAIM.org. And then there's also something called knowbility.org, KNOWBILITY.
Oh, so
knowability.
know as in knowing.
Yes. KNW, nobility.
Is it nobility or no
Yeah.
ability?
No, nobility. I think it's just
Okay.
nobility.
Yeah, all
Or
right.
I might have written it
I've
down.
never heard of
also.
these, that's great.
And then there's something
Thanks for having me,
adaptive
guys.
web design by
See you in
Aaron
class.
Gustafson. This is another book, Adaptive Web Design by Aaron Gustafson. 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 Yeah.
Who was the author?
So that was Sarah Horton, Sarah. And Whitney Quisenberry, Quesenbery.
So,
Sorry, I couldn't.
Quesenbery.
E-R-Y.
Yeah, and actually, I'll actually ask my contact person at the library if we don't already have those books in the library.
Can I propose something before we finish? I don't know if you guys have like subcommittees on different things. I know like last time I came, like last semester, we were discussing that.
yeah, Deep D has accessibility chair specifically.
And then we also have an advocacy.
Yeah, we also have an advocacy team.
Yeah.
But it ends up being a pretty tight,
Yeah.
like it ends up being just exec, where everyone
Yeah.
just kind of does what they can.
I think if we had more,
But you know, I was actually thinking, while just having you here has been so great today, and I was just thinking about how there's multiple different like disability specific groups on campus that like we should be working more closely with. So I don't know how we can create the infrastructure for that, but I think that we're an alliance, right? So I feel like any way that we can be more tapped in with these partners.
Definitely.
You know, any ideas you have?
But one of the things that it's been on my mind since last semester, or since like for a long time, but you know, there's like this for ASL Club and a lot of things for mobility, but things for cognitive disabilities aren't, like, I haven't seen a lot of support. So
I heard that there's a new, or I just saw on the SOFC agenda a few weeks ago that there's an Duke Autism Society or something trying to.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of vaguely in that
cool.
sort of, it's, we're calling it, well, I went through a name.
Autism Alliance, maybe?
It was either Duke Autism once, there was a major name and concept shift, because originally they were gearing back up to Autism Speaks Duke, but then they were like, no.
They don't want to.
They're not gonna connect with them. I was like, I actually didn't put my information down until I saw the shift, and I was like, let's not get that back, but, yeah, I know several people within that.
Yeah, and I was
I
just.
think Spectrum is the,
Okay.
Okay. It's like,
Oh, that'd be interesting.
that's wonderful. But like so I have dyslexia and ADHD, and I know a lot of students at Duke.
Yeah.
There are lots of different things, dyscalculia, things like that. But and I don't know, it's just something that I want to see more advocacy for.
let me email you. I can email you the link to the survey, and then if you want to just fill that out and then send it to your whichever friends you have.
Yeah.
That'll help us get a lot of anonymous feedback about like how to focus activism on like those sorts of things as well.
Yeah. And we're thinking, I mean, last meeting, some of us kind of casually talked about like changing our sort of business model for next year, where we're going to focus less on organizing events and focus more on activism.
Yeah, I think just generally awareness, because I don't think people realize how many students here have ADHD or dyslexia or dyscalculia or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no sense of it as a population,
Right.
It's like, and the way that other faculty sometimes talk about it is like, oh, I get all these accommodations requests, you know, it's for my big lectures, and I don't know what any of it is. It's like, I don't know what any of it is. All I know is that everybody needs time and a half on exams. It's like the one across the board accommodation.
Yeah, and like I've had a lot of issues this semester with professors who just like don't understand why I need it, and I have to explain things which I'm not supposed to have to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues that we can be.
Like for one of my classes, for the extended time, we started in the room with everyone else and then got moved to another room at the end of class to finish out the time. And I'm just like,
that's very disruptive.
Not okay.
Yeah.
And also extremely obvious as to who has the extended time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really bad.
Is your email just first name dot last name at duke.edu?
Yeah. ADAIR.NECALI.
Okay.
If we're thinking of ourselves as a group of activists and advocates, we can focus, we'll have like, since planning events is so stressful and time consuming and tedious and bureaucratic, it'll free up a lot of time if we're thinking about more partnering with other groups on campus and like, you know, having like campaigns, you know, around issues where there's less bureaucracy, there's less rules, and we can just kind of mobilize.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people around this campus feel like Duke just is not a place to be if you're a strong activist or advocate or something like.
We can change that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hope is with this survey, we can start talking about the specific issues that people are experiencing, and then from that, we can create a safer environment for people to have those kinds of conversations and get people to kind of speak about their own experiences. So, yeah. But yeah, we definitely we definitely want to collaborate with everybody that's working on these sorts of things. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your perspective. We really appreciate it.
Hope you can come to some of our events this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, so bad.
Did you have a
Schedule out somewhere?
There is, so if you go to tinyurl.com.
Oh yeah, there we go.
/disability art. That's our
Ability art?
Disability art.
Okay. Also, I don't think I'm on your mailing list.
Oh shoot, that is
Yeah.
that is bad.
Yeah, this is the website.
So good.
Oh, it's not yet.
Yeah, and this is the front page is just for this biggest event that we're doing because we want the most people to come to this. But if you go to the events bar, right there, that lists everything. Which it explains like our like the idea of Disability Pride Week, and then when you scroll down, it lists the things that we have going on every day.
Student Expo.
Yeah, and so like each one also has its own page, showing the location. So yeah, we're trying to get people to come mostly to the Student Expo and the arts event on Saturday. Those are our two big ones. The other things like the Accessibility Matters, that's a social media campaign, right? And we'll be tabling for that. The Trauma Informed Care Lecture that's designed for faculty but is open to students. And that's on Monday, so that's actually our first one. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. I hope you can come to something.
The website was great. Who did it?
Me, but it was very tedious and frustrating, and I still need to work on, what I really haven't been able to figure out is how to solicit information from people about what accommodations they need. Like there's no for whatever reason, WordPress here doesn't have that plugin anymore for contact forms. So I've had to post contact Duke Disability Alliance with accommodations requests, and nobody has. You know, I don't like that it's that extra step for people. So that's the one thing about this website that I don't know. I'm trying to
because
figure out.
if you link to our email, you can just click on it. It pulls up an email on whatever email app you have.
If you know how to do that,
I mean, it's like a normal hyperlink. Any, I can talk to you about it later.
you're a computer science person. You can help me. I was figuring this out completely.
Yeah.
And trying to think about making it, accessible as well.
And so just real quick, I think exec has some stuff to talk about, but so real quick, let me share my screen. So you can see here, software-duke.edu/software search, software-search, and then you type in read and write, and then it pulls up read and write gold. And so this is the screen reading software. It's freely available to all students. So you download it and you can try out. Make sure
I think I already told my students about that as well, because
Okay.
there's a direct link to it on the Duke Disability Management website. And
Okay,
I mentioned it, so I
okay,
said,
so you don't need to-
this
okay, awesome.
screen reading. Yeah, I didn't give them Nicole Stovall's email address, but other than that, they have all the
So they
accessibility.
have this already.
Fine.
So okay,
Yeah.
great. So then cool.
I think that's fine. I don't know how many of them are using it, but they've been given the information. That's as much as I could do.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks everyone for coming today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we will see you over the next week.
Dan, are you gonna make it out to some of our events? I know you'll be there Saturday.
Definitely will be there Saturday and hoping I can't do Monday.
Oh, too bad. Yeah, sorry.
when will the tabling sheet be sent out?
They already have one, which I did
We
post.
posted it on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
So because I think we can go ahead and stop now.
Stop broadcast.